Hey!
Welcome, fellow shitheads.
To another episode of Shitbox Love Stories.
Oh, today is a fun day.
Yeah, it is. We are so very excited to have an amazing guest on our show.
Yeah, he's kind of a big deal, I'd say. Yeah.
I'd say that, and he's definitely got some credentials under his belt.
Just a few. Just a 9 times X Game medalist.
A 4-time Rallycross champ.
A 2-time Formula D champ.
And a former co-host on Top Gear USA. Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about none other than
Tanner Foust.
Yeah, that's right. This guy decided he was going to be gracious enough to give our little show a piece of his time.
Yeah, we were so lucky to get to chat with him. It was a fantastic conversation, and we found out he has kind of a love-hate relationship with Shitbox Cars.
Yeah, just a bit.
Well, that's okay, because I think that's pretty much all of us, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So I'd say without further ado, we just jump right into this.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Enjoy, guys.
Much again for taking the time. So we're lovers of Shitbox Cars, and I'm pretty sure that you've got some we've defined Shitbox as pretty much anything that's anything from a commuter to a crappy old race car or whatever. So we'd love to hear anything you got, or I'm sure you have like that story, so we'd love to hear that from you.
Okay. Well, I would say I have a love-hate relationship with Shitbox Cars.
I'm sure.
I've definitely had my share of time in Shitbox Cars, and probably will forever be infected with something that I've caught from driving them. But there's I know I don't know. I honestly, when I think about it, the biggest shitbox I've ever owned. Mm-hmm. Funny enough, Rutledge, who's my co-host in Top Gear back in the day, it was like his favorite car. So one man's chicken's another man's steak.
You're right.
And
he loves his shitboxes proudly.
Yeah, he literally covers his house with pictures of them. And there's so
kids,
it's
just cars.
Yeah. It's an 83 Civic wagon. Honda.
Oh, wow.
And when I moved to Virginia with my folks, we bought one of those, and it was in shit brown, which is perfect, Perfect. And it was just unbelievably slow. It did have air conditioning. I'll say that.
Big improvement. Okay?
Yeah. But it had, like, you remember those older cars where you had like an extra button that you pushed for air conditioning, and the little green light came on, and then the power cut in half.
Yes.
And so to literally go out of a traffic light, and everybody, I moved to Virginia from California, and in Monterey, everybody's like, hey, we got an aquarium. It's, happy, free love. It's take your time. Everything's slow paced.
Right.
Yep.
Moved to Virginia, everybody's rushing off to DC to get to work, and they've got to meet the governor or whatever. So everybody's on, hauling ass. Every traffic light was a race. And I remember I had to push that air conditioning button every single traffic light just to pull away. And I'd just be full throttle and be slamming gears. You'd see the back of that thing slam every time I'd like speed shift it. And I'm just keeping up with any minivan on the block. And then once you kind of got up to cruising speed, you could put the air conditioning back on and try to cool off, because the humidity there is like 100%.
Yeah,
Summer. But I ended up rolling that 7 times and destroyed that.
Oh,
yeah.
A little too hard on the AC button off. There's too much power.
It was hard to hold on to. Yeah, I just launched. Like one night we were just jumping it. That's what you do in Virginia when you're bored in the middle of the country, is you just jump it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was on a road I wasn't familiar with, and in the midair the road turned, and we kept going straight into these like briar bushes. Rolled 7 times back over front.
Oh my!
Yeah, it was bad. It's the worst crash
turn on afterwards.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, this story just turned morbid, but here we go. The my friend who was in the passenger seat climbed over me, and he ran through the thorn bushes to get back to the road, and he was in shock, and it was cold out, and he had this big down jacket, and so all these feathers are flying in the air.
Oh my God.
Running in circles, kind of freaking out a little bit, and I'm just following this like trail of feathers through these bushes trying to find him. Anyway, that car died, so that was the end of the shitbox.
Oh,
yeah.
sad death for the '83 Civic with the AC. Yeah.
Yeah. And then come to meet Rutledge some 20 years later or 10 years later, and he's like showing me his pride and joy restoration project, and it's a shit brown '83 Civic wagon. Yeah.
My God, I remember that car. Now I know what you're talking about because we've been following him for quite some time. Yeah, that is a gem. It's a beauty.
Polishing the turd like crazy.
Right.
That one. But he's got full plaid interior, did the wheels, and yeah, I mean he sold it. But that was on that show we did one episode where we did 500 miles for $500. And did you see that one? Yeah. So everybody got themselves a hold of a shit box of their choice, in quotes, choice. And if you remember, one of the things they did in that show is they put forensic on each car.
Oh my God.
That part skeeved me out. I am not one for germs. No. So I saw that. I was like, oh, there's no way.
Friggin'
hazmat suit.
We read half of what was on there.
Oh my God.
Half of the stuff on those pages you just simply could not read.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Because we would generalize bodily fluids in the show. But in reality, they broke down exactly which bodily fluid was which pool. They actually were classified as pools of bodily fluid.
Not spatterings, pools.
No, just driver's seat. Pools of blank. I mean, it was, steering wheel. I mean, it was dark. And
we're gonna need a lot of Purell after that.
That was day 2 of the show, right? And we had like 4 days of driving in these cars, so we're like, after that, we had to get back in them, and that's when the whole idea of putting this, I think Rutledge wore an alligator suit.
Yes.
An inflatable alligator suit. Yes.
Yeah.
Make perfect sense.
Creativity.
Which I have so many videos on my phone of him singing like Taylor Swift songs in that alligator suit. I just stumbled across it.
Yeah, there you go.
That's just what happens. But that was a vile experience, and I'm a bit of a germaphobe anyway. I have been for a long time. Was a pre-med major, and once I went through microbiology, I've just been a bit of a germaphobe ever since.
Yeah.
And so the producers, every show, the producers would essentially be getting back at somebody for something. And that show, they were getting back at me for some travel nightmare that I was.
That was your payback.
That was my payback, is now this is happening. Forensic scientists have been through your car.
Yeah. There's pools of mystery fluids.
Yeah. Not mysterious. They knew exactly what it was. That was, ugh. Yeah. Anyway, so shit boxes are things that, if you're a car person, inevitably you have to come in contact with them, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got to have some experience, either when we talked about like when we were kids, just like our parents' cars. We had a big 4 Club Wagon van. That was my first car.
Sweet.
15 passenger, right?
Wow.
Yeah, I loved that thing. It was amazing. We used to tear around Orange County in it, and I thought I was the shit. And I definitely was not, thinking back on it. But
was it a right tire fryer? You just toasted that back right tire?
Always would find these driveways, burning it out. It's like we brake torque it. It didn't work, but we had to find the incline, the incline turn.
You just get enough weight off of that thing so it would start spinning. That poor differential was just sauce.
Oh, I hammered it. I think I trashed the transmission at like 45,000 miles in it. My parents were like,
what?
Why is our transmission broken? Oh,
no idea.
Dad. Blame Dad. He's a shitty driver.
It's Dad. He's such a shitty driver. Yeah. Yeah, we had a 73 Coupe de Ville, and then I remember my stepfather was like, "Oh, the steering's kind of weird," and took it to the shop, and they said both A-arms on the front were cracked and destroyed, and the suspension was barely hanging on. And I'm thinking, oh, that was the train tracks we jumped last night. But I'm not saying anything,
I think you got a lemon, Dad. I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, that is weird. Grandpa gave us a lemon. He did. Yeah.
I don't know how that happened. I remember the transmission story was like, it went out on my parents. Like we were driving we have a huge family, so it was loaded with people. And the transmission started to slip and then went crack, crack, bow. And that was it, revving freely. My dad just looked,
Oh my gosh.
he knew. Yeah, he knew it was me. And he just thought, you know what? I'm not going to tell your mom because she'll kill you. But I know this was you that fucked up this transmission.
Yeah. Did he make you work for it?
What's that?
Did he make you work for it?
Oh yeah, we subtly came to the conclusion that it was my fault, and I had to pay him back with lawn mowing for the next 5 years. So
Smart guy.
Yeah, it was a little rough, but hey, you know what? I never did it again because I didn't want to mow lawns for the rest of my life. So
yeah, and that's
like my cars. Yeah,
it's a good lesson because I mean I'm sure as soon as he heard that thing start slipping, he was thinking, free cut grass.
That's right. This guy, he owes me, man. He owes me lots. But yeah, it was.
We're just gonna put a pin in this. We're not gonna talk to your mom about it. And then let's just say the lawn needs to be cut.
That's right. That's right. Let's just blame Ford. Let's just blame Ford. Crappy used car. You just say it's Ford. It was Ford's problem, not me. Burning rubber down the road. Yeah.
I like the mafia parental style. It's
right.
Yeah. Mum's the word, but. You owe.
You owe, and there's a balance. He's sliding me balance sheets on the side. He's like, you're tough.
I got the juice on that lawn. Yeah. You're kind of working backwards right now.
You worked off $15 of that $3,000 we had to flip to replace that trans on that thing. But yeah, it was fun. I mean, I think back on it now and I feel horrible, honestly, for being a dick. But it was like when you're a kid, you just don't think of that stuff.
No, you don't care.
You don't. I watch my daughter chuck things and you think, oh, that's being disrespectful to people's stuff, and yes it is, but it's at the same time, how many neutral drops did you do on strangers' cars or even rental cars? Like, okay, rental cars seem like safe ground. That seems like a place where, hey, if I want to see what happens if I hold it full throttle and then just drop it into drive, it seems like it's like a science lab that's free from any repercussions or even guilt.
Yes.
But still, somebody's going to buy that.
Somebody's going to buy that. Yeah, neutral. I forgot about neutral drops. We did them a lot. Think about it now, and I'm like, we had this friend of our group. She had a Jetta. It didn't work because we blew up the trans as soon as we did it. But it was
I did it in the Corolla.
You did it in the Corolla?
My first car was a '95 Corolla. Didn't win a lot of races in those. Nope. No. Couldn't keep the AC on for that one either.
Yeah, no.
Probably a safe neutral dropper though. Those Toyotas are pretty tough.
I tried. I gave it my all.
That Corolla was super tough, though.
95 may be new enough. It got to some point where finally the engineers were like, hey, let's just program in now that we have computers in these things. If your foot's on the floor and you're going from neutral to drive, don't give them the gear. Like, do you remember at some point that happened? You went for the neutral drop and it just didn't happen. You're like, what?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the engineers giving you the finger. So
that's right.
This car was not meant for this.
It was not meant. No car is meant for. Yeah, we did it in a Tahoe. I remember that was fun.
You did it in a Tahoe?
Yeah, that actually lit up the back tires pretty good. It was one of those it was like the like a 94, 95 Tahoe when they first came out. Yeah, we lit it up. It worked. Yeah.
Do you find that it's almost therapeutic? Like you come away after, this is terrible. Honestly, this is an awful thing to say, but why not? When you are beating on a car, let's not call it destroying, but when you're doing some damage, jumping, neutral dropping, that it somehow makes you feel better.
I agree.
Is that
100%? I don't know. It must be this deviant that's just deep in my brain. I'm just like holding back, but it's just, I get excited. It's fun. It's fun to destroy within the parameters of no death. Yeah.
That's right. And they're like, have you laughed so hard as like jumping a rental car for the first time?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It is the most fun in the world. You're like this, because it's all wrong. It's like playing a video game, but in real life.
Yeah.
Like it's all wrong, but it's so right. It's perfect.
You just crack up. It's like that show America's Funniest Home Videos, which they should just call Taking It in the Nuts.
Yeah, right.
They like when you see somebody, but that's the same reaction you get when you hear the suspension bottom out. Everybody's like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Can we just do What?
Oh yeah, we did.
Are we the 13th? I remember I had a, God, what was that thing? It was an Aveo. It was a Chevy Aveo.
Nice.
It didn't even have power steering. I remember this. And my friends wouldn't get in it. It was a rental, they were like, we're not even getting in this piece of shit. I'm like, let's just go jump it let's go to the Saddleback and let's, bomb off the speed bumps in the back parking lot. And suddenly everybody was like, yeah,
Best
all
thing
right,
ever.
let's do it.
Now the Aveo's fun.
Well, it had such a terrible suspension, so much, movement in that thing. It took it like a champ, and I
amazing.
thought it was 3 cylinders and no power steering. So yeah, it was a speed demon, that one.
There's this industry out there called the ride and drive world, which I haven't seen this come around much anymore. But when a car manufacturer wants you to test drive one of their cars, sometimes they'll send a fleet of cars with some pro drivers around. They'll set up autocross tracks in parking lots around the country. Once you get you get an invite. Maybe you're a subscriber to Motor Trend or something, so you'll get an invite.
I've seen those. Yes.
Yeah, BMW used to do one. All the manufacturers kind of do them in one form or another. Anyway, I was on this team of, quote, pro drivers cruising around, riding right seat. They used to be called the handbrake operators of the world because you rode around with your hand on the handbrake just waiting to save everybody's life in the car. But you would travel city to city, always in a fleet of rental cars. And we started something. We should have followed up on it because it'd be great content now. But it was the Rental Car Olympics.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so every city had like a different discipline. San Francisco had the long jump, and we'd go to Chinatown in San Francisco. And
hills in the city. Yeah.
You just get one person out there. They'd give you, it was like when you're skiing or something and you got somebody on the roller giving you the big X if there's somebody coming by. And you would just, if there's no X, you would just send it. And we had these little magnetic, through the years in these parking lots that we had found magnetic numbers that people used on autocrosses and stuff. So we had race numbers on the side of the rental car and everything. And we just go out and launch these things. We had a sand pit in Galveston, Texas, where we would see how long you could make it in the sand. We had a couple, and honestly, the sand would cause the engines to like glow. We never caught one on fire, but the exhaust would just glow. Yeah, it was so much work on it. But Rental Car Olympics, that's something that I am looking forward to seeing the YouTube channel pop up. Maybe Shitbox Cars should turn into Rental Car Olympics later. Branch off, have a little branch off.
Yeah.
I'm
sure lots of people want to participate in that too. I'm not sure the rental car companies would love it so much, but
I mean, they're not renting the cars. They got to do something with them right now.
Hey, that's true.
That's a good point. We'll just beat the shit out of them and jumping them into sand pits and off of railroad tracks. They'll
make some profit. That's all that matters.
Yeah. They'll get some views. They get like, look, Enterprise is cool with you destroying, their Malibu. I don't know. It's like,
hey, they've only got like 9,000 of them. The sacrifice a finger to save the whole body. I think it's a good plan.
Right. I'm for it.
Yeah. I love that idea. We should do it. We should just invite people to do it and get really good insurance. So when people inevitably start getting killed, we can just
really good insurance and a really good
waiver. Just
at the
the fact that we just talked about this means we're all blacklisted anyway. But you're gonna have to come up with names to rent cars in, fake IDs and everything.
Now they'll know us. They already know us at all of the dealerships because we just go through
test drive cars.
Like, bored, we're looking to buy a car right now. Test drive it. Yeah.
We're thinking that a Porsche, a GT3 would be great. Right about now. Yeah.
That fits in my life perfectly right now.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, so how much are you gonna pay for that, sir? It's like, later. I don't know.
That was a sport. That's funny, you guys. All your dealers know you, because in college, that's what we would do. Be like, oh yeah, my dad, I'm graduating next year, and he said, hey, why don't you go look?
Shit, I'd say, yeah.
And they're just, the sales guys are just like, frick, I could have got that lady over there in the parking lot instead. I got
they hate us.
The name they have for that is a yankster.
A yankster. I never heard of that.
Yeah, it's a yankster because you're yanking their chain. They say I used to work on a car lot as I parked the cars.
Porter, whatever.
Dealership.
Yeah.
And so, one of the guys, this guy Hugh, it's so funny, I remember him, Hugh Yusuf. He had so much hair. He had to wear a big shirt just to hold all the hair. And he that was graphic. I'm sorry. They were always white shirts too, and you didn't want to see that guy sweat. I'm telling you,
Chris.
Yeah. But but he was like, I remember you. What'd your dad end up getting you for graduation? I'm actually a sophomore. Yeah.
Busted.
Yeah, totally busted. And so the Yanksters come to town. They start yanking the change, and these sales guys have to go on test drives. And wasn't that the best? I mean, how many sales guys have you scared out of their minds on test drives?
Oh, Tom, she did it probably like the most eloquently. I have to say, it was.
I
was pretty good.
had never driven a GTI before, so I was like, well, I need to do this. And the guy looked at me. He's like, "This is for your husband, right? You can't drive stick." And I was like,
now
okay,
it's on. Now it's on.
So where was that? In Lake Forest?
Yeah, it was Lake Forest.
Yeah, in Lake Forest.
Irvine, yeah.
I took it to Redline, every single gear. The guy was sitting in the back, and he's like, "Okay, you can drive stick. Does your husband want to drive now?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Yeah, here you go."
Yeah, no, I didn't even want to do it. I'm driving, and you just jumped it. Oh.
We left it alone. I got in the car and I just babied it along, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna overshadow. I'm not even getting close to this.
Yeah, no.
That guy was scared shitless. He really
should have been. And he deserved it, honestly. Come on.
Yeah, it's like, come on, aren't we over that? Like the whole can't drive stick shift thing. Come on, you know.
And I'm like,
maybe a 98%.
Ashford, bro. Yeah.
just Americans in general. Europe is the worst. When you come in there, they hear your accent right away.
Yeah.
And there's in Norway, I was lucky enough. So I used to race quite a lot in Europe. And there was a race we used to do in Norway called Hell. And it was up in Norway. And in Norway, it's fairly popular to go up there and do a rental car tour. So they have like tour maps. You rent a car, you go through the fjords. They have like set routes.
Really?
You can take. Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
It's amazing. I did it on a motorcycle on that one, it's a very rainy country, but it was still amazing. But they wouldn't rent manual cars to Americans. That was just a straight policy.
Really?
Yeah. It's just a straight policy, just because of replacing clutches. And they just gone through it enough. And that was just, and they weren't being like, it wasn't even considered a stereotype. It's just like a fact. Statistically speaking, we just won't do it because it just costs us too much money. And that's just
built into their insurance. Don't do it.
Yeah, that's so embarrassing. I think that's more embarrassing than anything, right? I'm like, we're blacklisted from driving sticks. I'd be like, no, really, I can drive a stick
around the rest of the freaking world. Yeah. I'm racing cars here for, I didn't even go there. I was just like, all right, I'll take the auto. That's just how it is. It's fine. I'm not gonna.
What am I gonna do? How are we gonna? There should be like a 5-minute window of time. Like, just take me outside. I promise I can put it in forward. I can reverse it. I can do this.
I'm not going to reverse 25 years of clutch smell being returned by Americans. So I'll just take the automatic and I'll just cruise.
Wow. I remember my parents saying when they went to Italy, they opted for the automatic, but sticks are just so standard. It's just normal. And here, she drives stick. And I think of all the people I know, maybe 1 or 2 out of 20 or 30 do. And we're probably the only ones who do. Yeah.
Even in the stunt community, I was doing a movie in Austin, and they had another thing going on there. And the stunt people that they had there, hardly any of them, certainly nobody in the certain look could drive stick.
Really?
And so I got them a local rally driver to come in. They gave him a SAG card and everything to do the gag. And he was one of the only guys there that could drive. I know it's a generational. My daughter's 15. She can drive stick. She's
good for her.
Good for her. Yeah.
And for the selfish reason for that is, there's the reasons we're talking about, underlying reasons we're talking about it. Everybody should be connected to the car enough that much. But also, I think when they're young, distracted, friends in the car doing whatever, if they're nervous about stalling, then at least they're paying attention.
That's true.
Exactly. I was terrified of it when I first learned.
Yeah.
That's all I was focused on.
Oh, yeah. One chunk through the intersection with everybody looking at you and maybe honking. And you're going to turn the radio down so you can hear the engine a little bit.
That's exactly what you do. You instantly just shut it down. You're like, okay.
It's gonna help me drive better. Just turn it down.
Her uncle is an engineer by trade. So he's a numbers and math guy. Well, that's who taught her to drive stick.
I got a full diagram. I got showing me what did what, how the clutch worked and everything. I got a full presentation before I even got into the car. And I was like, well, I'll never forget, I guess.
She hasn't. Yeah.
I need that. You know, what's funny is I used to do these teen driver training programs on those ride and drives where we had one day that was like a teen day.
Mm-hmm.
So parents would come in, they'd bring their kid to the thing, and then we'd run them through like emergency lane changes and do stuff, you know, that they wouldn't normally get to do if it was your own car, because it's, you know, beats up tires and stuff.
Right.
And I'd say 8 out of 10 kids would come in, look down underneath the steering wheel, and then just say, okay, what pedal does what?
Oh, God.
And that was that. And these are kids that are like 16, sometimes they could be up to 18.
What?
Never even asked the question. Been riding in a car their whole lives. Never even asked the question of which pedal, you know,
and never
makes you
I don't
go.
know, like, to me that's weird because I was always obsessed as a
Right.
kid, like watching my parents drive, and like there was always a stick shift in the house, so like
Yeah, it was
always
just
paying attention. But
I mean, I even like stupid video games. Like when video games came out, like I knew accelerator brake. I'd sit in my parents' Lincoln and just pretend. I'm like, I know that does that. I know that does that. And when I first got behind the wheel, it was like, I always say, it was like euphoria. It was like freedom. I was like, I can do this. I'm finally feeling what these things do.
Yeah.
For kids not to get that now, sad.
Yeah.
It really is.
I was always amazed at how sensitive the gas pedal was.
Yes.
The first thing you do is you hit it and it's like, whoop, 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 and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I thought you just like mashed it. I guess, okay. Yeah. Do you remember that first feeling? Is like, my mom was pretty progressive. We lived in Scotland out in the middle of nowhere when I was in those years. So from 9 to 13. And so starting at 10, she would let me drive on part of the trip to school, which was about 7 miles. We had an old Volkswagen bus, 73 bus. And it was, you know, you just sit on the edge of the seat and, you know, the pedals go straight into the floor on those.
Right.
So you didn't really have to be tall and reach the pedals. And it was by far the most exhilarating part of my day was driving that blue bus through the woods there. And it wasn't fast or anything like that, but there's just some controlling this mass somehow, you know, it's awesome to watch my daughter addicted to it. Like every single night she has to go drive somewhere. We just sort of drive up and down the street a couple times, practice like hill starts and stuff like that. But it's cool. I would say that probably out of the 5 or 6 friends that I know that she hangs around a lot, I don't think a single one of them has an interest in driving. And I know one of them is almost 17 and doesn't have a license.
no
yet.
interest?
Yeah, just not into it. Not
like they're just fine just walking or just like bumming a
Getting
ride off of
rides.
somebody
It's
kind
the
of a
Uber
thing?
generation, maybe. They're just like, yeah, we'll call a car. I don't even know.
I think there's but this is what you're hitting on, is it's getting from A to B is not a big deal anymore because you can talk to people other ways, you know?
Right.
And,
Oh, man.
where with us, if you wanted freedom, you wanted to go somewhere, you did it yourself and you went there.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So certainly it's a gateway. Cars are a gateway to, you know, human potential. If this has gotten deep, started with shit cars.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about, you know, the core. Of what
Potential
is the
We're getting real deep.
I had no idea you guys were going to connect this. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's like there is, like we always say, there's like an emotion to cars, but there really is. If you really love them and you get it, it's people would ask. My family has no interest in cars; they all hated them. But for me, it was like the thing I always did and loved, and they didn't get it. And I'm like, because you just drive because you have to. I drive because I want to.
Yes.
Like I love the feeling of it. I love seeing what the car can do. I love the feeling of being in something that I control, and like they just see it as a way to get to work. I'm like, no.
No, there's so much more than that, though.
I mean,
it's a skill to get better at, and it's a skill
Yes.
to learn, which is why I got into racing. I was never a race fan. None of my parents raced, or anybody in my family raced, to be honest. So it was just like, okay, if you're going to learn this more and it's super fun, what's the next step? And then you learn to do it faster. And then you can't, you know, I got pulled over quite a lot. I started getting a lot of tickets. I couldn't go any faster on the street. And then it turned into going fast. And where I lived I know there's a lot of street racing here in Southern California where you grew up, but in Virginia is just, the roads were just tunnels through the trees. And so you could outrun police pretty easily because as soon as you got a couple turns ahead of them, they were gone. That's awful. Allegedly. But, but
off the
you know,
record. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but then you just had to kind of take it on the track if you wanted to learn more about this skill.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good thing, and it's good to watch 15-year-old go through that and know that's still there, because they're in the car industry. There's a fundamental feeling that the enthusiast is dying.
Yes.
As these kids want a cell phone rather than a driver's license.
We talk about that all the time, where it just kind of feels like that.
There's not a lot of like, it's
That
that like
magic
wow
is
factor.
kind of-
Very few manufacturers are still, you know, and then there's people like Hyundai who are doing N-line Sonatas and shit where it's like, since when? Like,
Yeah.
Since when is Hyundai in the performance game?
yeah, it's like,
what is happening?
how did that even happen? It's like, I don't know what they're banking on, but in majority of it's technology, gas mileage. And I'm looking forward to the day when all those things come together. When there's performance, technology, and fuel economy or electrification. I can't wait for that day. And it's, you know, maybe then we'll have another surge of interest, you know, in that.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. I've been with Volkswagen now for a while. Not to plug, you know, my racing sponsor or anything, but I love that they still offer manual transmission.
Yes, they're one of the few.
One of the few left doing it. They still have a performance arm. They still have the R brand, which I'm a spokesperson for. And the guy running the R brand is this very charismatic and he's Yost Capito is his name, and he's been he ran Volkswagen Motorsport, he ran Ford Motorsport, he ran McLaren Formula One, Salva Formula One.
Oh wow!
That BMW 4-cylinder turbo that was in those M3s back in the day, his babies. He ran motorsports program for Audi. Like just one of these guys that's just a pure racer building cars, which doesn't happen in this industry. I've found in a lot of cases. And so his hands are cuffed. You know, a racer going to build a car that has to be street legal and use the same braking system as the Audi A3 and use the same, you know, so his hands are cuffed. He wants it to be all better and bigger. Right. But it's got to be for sale and be insurable, you know. So, but at the same time, that kind of push-pull relationship makes for interesting cars. And so it's that for me, that's what my daughter drives. She practices on as a Golf R, so she's spoiled. But she has there's also an old Mini that she has to jump start every time, that's sitting in the driveway.
Oh my god!
It's her mom's old car, so she has to jump start that every time she wants to drive it, which I love seeing her pop the hood and get under there and do the work.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and I just tell her to come get me once the car's running. And
right. I don't want to be involved with getting it started. Just I'll come out when it's time to go. Yeah.
Gotta learn to do that stuff.
Yeah, you do. Well,
I'm gonna walk with you guys upstairs to plug this thing in.
Sure.
Now we get a house tour now.
There you go.
I'll show you this. Upstairs of the garage. That guy right there.
Oh,
we lost you for a sec. Sorry,
we're frozen.
There we go.
Yeah. Could the car that I learned to drive stick on is actually here in my house.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The actual car?
Yeah, the actual car. My dad bought it when I was 3. It's an old 912.
Oh my god.
And
I've seen that car in your pictures, I think, and I think that's the one. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, yellow car. But it's so the first 3 cars I drove was that Volkswagen bus, and then a Ford Fiesta that was right-hand drive.
Oh shit!
Oh wow!
Wow. You had some really cool first cars. I have to say, yeah.
That beats the '95 Corolla.
Yeah.
Please excuse the technical difficulties. Now, back to your regularly scheduled interview.
I have that car in my house. You gotta have those kind of memories connecting from your childhood. It makes me feel 10 years old just to smell that thing. So it's awesome.
That's so cool.
That's really cool. Yeah, my uncle still has the same car I learned how to drive stick on.
What?
Which was a 93 Toyota pickup. Yeah, that's what I learned.
22 RE, basic gas.
Yeah,
that's a nice truck.
He still has it. It's got over 400,000 miles on it now.
Incredible. That truck will outlive all of us.
No, I told him he needs to will it out to somebody because he refuses to get rid of it. So, and everybody, and it still gets used to today. So
yeah,
we borrowed it.
Ever let any kind of forensic scientist near it.
Probably not a very good idea.
Pools of sweat. It's going to be, there's no AC in it. He drove it to Palm Springs every day.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Can you say what he had for lunch that day? Sweat in that seat. It's so specific.
It's very, it was, I mean, we you can like breathe on that thing. You get in it and shut the door. Dust just goes, it's dash is falling apart on it.
Kinda
The,
makes me
all the
cough
trim's
a little.
broken. It's the worst, but at the best.
Yeah, the
Time.
worst and the best. See, that's the love-hate relationship I was talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no AC,
Excited.
sweatbox, but great.
Yeah, it's like an old pair of socks. Fits great. Like
Mhm.
really fits great, but they're old socks.
But-
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have like those shorts that I wear all the time that I get yelled at for wearing. Like, why are you wearing those shitty old shorts? It's like, yeah, because they're amazing and they're perfectly fit to me after all these years.
And I've never seen anybody with this color plaid shorts. and so I have to wear them. Who is
Right.
brown plaid? No, me.
Me.
Yeah.
I rock my own identity here. These are my shorts.
I'm bringing it back.
Right.
That's right. I miss plaid shorts actually, but
Yeah, I need to go back to like the when we were kids in the 90s and go back to those looks of like what, Jinko jeans? Remember the big giant jeans that were like this?
my
That's
gosh.
look that never needs to come back.
I saw somebody with them on the other day. I think they're trying to make a comeback, but
Really?
that's nostalgia people. Yeah.
Well, you were California kids, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you guys pegged your pants then.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They
Yeah.
just-
Oh, yeah. We're
That was
all
so funny.
embarrassed. Yeah.
I was showing my daughter how to peg pants, and the muscle memory was there. Like I whipped those peg. They were tight as could be. They would have lasted all day, no problem.
Mhm.
Not going anywhere. You're
I
safe.
mean, the seam of the jeans perfectly folded in, like locking the peg. Yeah, it was. You know exactly what I'm talking about. When you get it right, you're like, "Yep, that's there all day."
That's it.
You do that side look in the mirror, you're like, yeah, that's clean.
Yeah,
I got it.
clean.
That's clean. Oh man. Well, hey, we really appreciate it. It was great to meet you virtually. She met you a couple years ago, like I mentioned, during Halloween, but
Yeah.
really briefly. But yeah, it was great to virtually meet you, and thank you for doing this. It was really fun to talk to you.
Great to see you, and great to meet you as well. It's I love the concept. I can't wait for the branch off. What was the branch off going to be?
Rental Car Olympics.
Yes.
Yes. Rental car Olympics.
We're gonna do it.
We're in it. Well,
Enter me in. I can't wait to see like in the Olympics, obviously the clothing that you wear is like makes you perform better. So I can't wait to see what you have to wear in Rental Car Olympics to make the car just do its thing. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, super.
Jinko jeans. That's what
Jinko
you have
jeans,
to
yeah.
wear.
Jeans, bed pants, so you don't get caught up in the pedals.
That's right. Perfectly pinned. Just dialed. Absolutely dialed. We'll come up with a uniform. Yeah, we're gonna do it. We'll sell it to Netflix one day. We'll be like, I remember those.
Are you kidding me? That was crushed.
Right?
Right?
Oh yeah, you'd have long jump for one episode. You'd have, I don't know, you got to go through the whole gamut. It's going to be great. Swimming will be tricky, but we can do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, no, I mean, if Hyperdrive can make it, why couldn't we do something like that?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
Rental Car Olympics. It'll be the next viral sensation. Let's do it.
I'm ready.
Well, thank you, man.
Hertz.
Really, really appreciate it. It was so
Yeah.
good to talk to you.
Thank you so much. You're a busy guy, so thank you for taking the time for
No,
us.
Yeah.
thank you guys. All right, have a great rest of the day. See ya.
You
Okay.
too. Thank
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was awesome.
Yeah, just a bit. My head's still kind of spinning over the fact that he was so like cool
Yeah.
and just talked to us and was willing to talk to us.
Yeah. Yeah. For somebody, that's a Hollywood stuntman, has been on TV, is, this race car driver that, has been all over the world. He was super down to earth and super cool.
Yeah, that's gonna be a highlight of my year
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
For sure. For sure. Just the minute he popped up on the screen, it was like all
Oh my
real
God,
at that point.
this is happening.
Yeah. It was like, and the nerve set in. It was like, oh man, that's Tanner Foust,
Yeah, and I decided to drink a very large coffee before doing that, which probably wasn't a very good idea.
Her hands are just like, it was just all kinds of nerves, all kinds of energy, but it was really fun. But, we touched on this in the interview, but one of the things, actually, it's a term I've never heard before until Tanner shared it with me, but he talked about yanksters.
Yanksters, and I believe that we could be crowned as king and queen yankster.
For sure. We've done this shit on dates. It's like, this isn't just something we've done it a lot, I'd say.
We've done it a lot. I mean, we would go get food,
Mm-hmm.
and then off to the car lots we go.
Yeah.
Let's go test drive.
Whatever it was.
A lot of the times we were just way too impatient.
Mm-hmm. It's just one of those things where it's like you. Come on, you can't hear it in here.
Yeah.
Now I gotta. Love, you can't hear it. Stop it. Well, that was awesome.
Oh my gosh. My head is still spinning.
Yeah, that was one of the cooler experiences I've had in my life, and definitely my highlight of 2020 so far.
For sure. Like, when he first came on the screen, it was like, oh my God, this is happening.
Yeah, it's like, this is real. He's here. He's in front of us, and
We're
this is actually
talking
happening.
to him.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
I know. It was, for being a guy who's a Hollywood stunt driver and has all these great credentials, he was so down to earth.
Yeah, he was super chill. So easy to talk to. Like, just an all-around great guy.
Yeah, yeah. And one of the things we talked about in the interview was, it's a term I've never actually heard before.
No, I'd never heard it before, but I do think that we should be crowned king and queen.
Yanksters.
Awesome.
Like, it's the fact that something that we've done for years has a name, I'm so happy.
Right? Like, this was our thing. This was what we would do on dates. We would go get food and then off to the car lots.
Yes.
Let's go yank somebody's chain.
Right. Let's go purposely make some salesman's life, miserable. And
hey, you know what? We were giving him an opportunity to see the road.
yeah, we're just getting him out of off the car lot for a few minutes.
There you go.
We might buy a car one day.
Maybe. We did go back maybe once and bought a car from one of these people.
Yeah, the cool person who actually took us seriously, but I don't know why anybody would. But
no, I don't know why either.
I don't know why either. But we always had to concoct these crazy ass stories, like Tanner talked about with my dad's buying me this car. For us, it was always like, oh, we're having a baby.
Or I've been in an accident. I've been in a lot of accidents, according to the
Dozens.
stories that we've told. Yeah.
Dozens.
Oh, I need a new car. I have
Yeah.
to replace my vehicle. Oh, I need to upgrade. When we tried to pull off that we could afford such a vehicle.
Yeah, you roll into a nice car lot and you're like, yeah, we're just trying to upgrade.
We would dress differently for those car lots, though.
I mean,
Luxury car lots, you dress a little nicer, and then they take you a little bit more seriously.
Yeah.
It's a whole act, guys.
It is. It's a terrible act. And I think back on it some of those times, and I'm like, God, I was the swindler. I swindled the car salesman. Well, screw those guys sometimes, but for real, we were pretty good.
Yeah, we were pretty good. I mean, we still are. I mean, even though we got it, we're on our little break right now. You have to go through the wave, and then you
Yes.
have to take a break because they recognize you there. And
Yes.
there's such a high turnover for car salesmen as it is. Like, you can just wait about a month, and then boom, you got
guys.
You got a fresh audience
Yeah.
to fake out
Right.
all over again.
And you just pray that damn manager doesn't come over at the end and try to
Yep,
sell
it's
you.
like, oh, no, I don't want to shake your hand. No.
Yeah, I would just say now pandemic. I'd be like, no,
No, we don't do that anymore.
we don't do that anymore. We don't shake with people. We don't shake.
We bump elbows.
We bump elbows. We rub it. It's one of those. It's I don't know. We have some good stories ourselves revolved around being some great youngsters.
Yeah, one of the stories we kind of talked about with Tanner,
Mm-hmm.
but I just kind of want to put a little PSA out there for the car salesman
Yes, listeners.
listeners. Do not assume a woman can't drive stick.
Ever.
You will instantly lose a sale, first of all. And secondly, if it's me or anybody like me, we'll scare the shit out of you in the test drive process.
That's right. Your life will be intentionally threatened, safely, by the person who actually can drive stick that you assumed could not.
Damn straight.
And that is what this story revolves around. So go ahead. I love this one.
Well, this was early on when we were dating. We hadn't been dating for that long at this time, and I had never driven a GTI at the time, and you told me it was an experience that I had to have.
Yes.
So off to the Volkswagen dealership we go.
Yes. We picked a good one. We knew they had a couple of we wanted to drive a stick. That was the main thing.
Yeah, no, the dual clutch is nice, but I wanted the stick shift.
Yes, you wanted to row your own gears, and
Exactly.
we found one. We knew it was there. We knew we were semi-interested at the time, or I was, in buying it. So it was kind of like, but I don't know.
It was a half yank, I guess.
It was a half yank. Yeah, like maybe at one point we would have come back and bought the damn thing, but yeah.
Not from this guy.
No, this guy did not deserve our business after being a certified dipshit. So, yeah. So we went to the car dealership. It was a nice day. It was in the afternoon. I remember it was sunny, clear.
It was a perfectly sunny afternoon.
Mm-hmm. It was a beautiful
I remember
day.
it like it was yesterday.
Fairy Tales of Yanksters. I just came up with another fucking podcast name. Yeah, Fairy Tale Yanksters.
So we get to the lot. We tell the guy what we want to drive. He comes back, brings back the keys, and instantly hands it to you and says, "Well, I already know. It's not clearly this is for you to be driving."
You can almost hear like the wind, the breath of the world just kind of stop and go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Oh, he did not just say that to her." And I turned to her, and she was on her phone, and she looks up. It just gives me that look of like scowl like this.
It's like, no, actually, that was for me to drive. Me.
I was like, oh boy. All right. So, and yeah, we basically said, actually, you walked over and you're like, actually, I'm the one who wants this car.
So we get into the car.
Mm-hmm.
I adjust my seat. I adjust my mirrors. Pull out of the lot. And then proceed to take every gear
Straight to red line.
straight to red line.
Like there was no warm up. We pulled none.
No. He didn't deserve a warm up. He deserved
He
deserved an ass beating. So
And
this
did.
is what you get.
He was like not paying attention either. He was sitting there thinking, whatever. And she pulls out onto this main road.
Which is a very clear,
Yeah.
very open, kind of an empty road where this lot was. And there was nobody on the road this day. Just to be clear, I wasn't completely unsafe.
No.
The road was very clear.
Very clear, yeah.
I think I got it up to 90 on the street.
Yeah.
I think that's where I got it up to. And the guy was sitting in the middle seat in the back.
Yeah. He was riding bitch, and I don't know why he decided that was the way to go.
White knuckled. I think when I got, because you wanted to drive it too. It was like we always do. We always stop in the middle of the test drive and switch drivers. That's what we do. And you had wanted to drive it, and I think I did some asshat thing where I was like,
Yeah.
Where I tossed you the keys. I did some kind of jackass move.
You like pish posh. This is no big deal. And this GTI is like, you can smell it. It's like it's stinking up because she was just running this thing to red line.
It hadn't been driven.
No.
It has been sitting on the lot for God knows how long.
Yeah, and it was just, and she did a masterful job.
I warmed it up.
What's that?
I warmed it up.
Yeah, hell yeah, you warmed it up. And she did a great. It was just like it was like a master class.
It was perfect.
It was everything
it was
you
one
could.
of my finer moments in life.
It was like, man, she was like down. She was rev matching on downshift. She was double clutching. She was just beast mode with it, and it was a GTI. It takes it,
I still, this is why I'm still longing for that car. I will have a GTI.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like the car itself was so good. I mean, it took the beating with with pleasure. I felt like
that car is perfection. It is like that. You need no other hot hatch. It is
the hot hatch.
That is the hot hatch. That is the best deal for your money if you want something fun to drive.
Yeah.
It is that car.
It is definitely that car. So, yeah, the guy was he was pretty speechless. We got back and we handed the keys off, and I don't even think he fetched his manager. He's like, okay, have a good day. Thinking this motherfuckers, can't believe you're doing this, but whatever. And we were just like, we high-fived on the way out of there.
Yeah, we did.
We were like, screw this
I think
dickhead.
I said something like, I would never buy from you or something like that. I was so angry. It's just like, can't we be past that? Women can drive stick shifts.
Yeah.
Like, we're fully capable.
Mm-hmm.
Fully capable of doing. There are plenty of women that enjoy cars.
Yes.
Let's drop that whole whole act, guys.
Yeah. It's a one of those subtle dangers in life, and that's assuming, and that's exactly what that guy did. He assumed, and he was wrong. And
he was wrong, and I proved him wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, there's nothing better than
she's
proving
gushing.
somebody wrong.
She's gushing over, like it's just like it's basking in the
It's
moment.
a fine moment in life.
Oh my God!
Now I know you have definite stories of doing this because you did this prior to meeting me, so I'm sure you've got tons.
Yeah, for sure. I have it on two sides actually because I did actually sell cars for a little bit.
That's right.
So I was the Yankee.
Oh yes, yeah, but I don't think you minded though.
No,
you weren't. You were kind of a shitty car salesman.
No, I sold I sold a lot of cars.
Yeah, but you weren't like the typical guy.
Oh no. I was not. I refused to play their games. If you ever want a master class in what to do inside of a car dealership, just ask me because I know all the tricks. I refuse to play their BS games. But I sold cars and I had people do it twice maybe. And both times they were pretty sweet cars. The one time was I worked for Chevy, so it was a Trailblazer. It was when they had Trailblazers, the last gen, but it was a Trailblazer SS.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's V8.
That guy.
It was all-wheel drive V8, thunderingly loud, really stupid vehicle, really, if you think about it, because it was just an SUV with giant wheels and a big, and it was fast.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good idea because it caught on.
There's been other versions of that, and it was awesome. And we had one on our lot, and some young kid, 25, 26-year-old kid, my age-ish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was his next car purchase.
Yeah, he emails me. He's like, "Can I see this car, sir?" And looking at this, I'm like, "You want the SS?" I'm like, "This motherfucker." He's yanking me right now, but I'm like, whatever. I'm bored. Sure, let's go for a test drive. Kid shows up trying to BS me. He's BSing a BSer. Like, I'm already in sales.
This game.
I mean, I know this game. I'm like, I've yanked more chains. So I'm like, whatever. This guy's doing this. It's fine, whatever. And I'm like, as long as he doesn't do anything stupid, like, I'll be cool with this. So we got on the road, and he's fine for the first, few minutes of this drive. And then, I don't know, quarter of the way into it, we pull onto this on-ramp for the freeway, and he just fucking punches it.
As he should.
Yeah, and it was just like, oh boy. And the speedometer is 60, 70, 80, 90. And he got to 95, and I was just like, dude. I was like, dude, you gotta slow down. I know you want to drive it and it's fun, but you gotta slow down because there was a turn coming up.
I don't want to die today.
No. I was like, I just want to live. I want to live and have a great, fruitful life. No, but he did. He slowed down because he realized I was getting pissed at him, and I was bigger than he was, and he probably didn't want to mess with
Jesus.
me. No, it was one of those things. It was just we had a good time. I basically called him out and said, I know why you're doing this, and then I proceeded to ask him, how was it? And he said, yeah. He's like, this is a cool truck, man. I really love it. And we had a good talk about it, and then got back, pulled it in the lot, and then that was my vehicle that I would drive around. I would borrow it to go do errands for the dealer, and I would take the SS.
Yeah, that sounds like you.
Yeah. It was just awesome. So, I got my chain yanked pretty badly on that one. I just didn't sit there thinking, you had the other story very similar to your GTI story with the Mazda. Remember that?
Oh yeah, that was fun.
That's the second time in Mikey's life.
But that kid was really nice. I wasn't doing it to be a dick that time.
No,
actually that happened right after the accident, and I was real jittery about driving after that.
That's right.
It was kind of I had to prove it to myself that I could still do it. Why I decided to take this poor kid along for my emotional ride, I'm not quite sure, but if you're out there, kid, I'm sorry.
You're right. You're thinking you're walking in there and I'm gonna prove to myself I can do this, and there's this brand new car salesman who's just
he was laughing though. He was having a good time.
It was hilarious. It was a similar thing. We actually were looking for a car because
because that time I actually was in an accident, and that time I actually did need to replace my car.
yeah. I'm sure we'll talk about that accident on later episodes, but she got hammered pretty good. So the car was toast, and we had to look for another car. And she again was flirting with the idea of hatchback stick shift, and there's not too many of those things out there.
Not a lot. It's a real shame.
It is.
The poor stick shift is is dying.
Yeah, that's why there's a Save the Manuals campaign, because it's something that needs saving for sure. But yeah, we went to a Mazda dealer, and they had it was a hatchback 3.
Yeah, it was just a 3 hatchback.
A 2.5 liter, like the bigger motor.
Yeah, it was when they had recently had done the redesign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like 2016, 2015, something like that. And we went out there. It was sitting in the front. I remember because it had like dealership installed accessories on it.
Yeah, it was black, and it had a body kit on it and everything.
Yeah, that's right. It had like a black like sill extensions and a front lip spoiler and a rear.
Yeah, it looked really nice. It was clean.
Yeah, it was clean.
Mazda does a good job with those things.
And it was a stick, and it was the top of the line. It was a Grand Touring, I think.
I always get confused with their levels.
Whatever the top one
whatever
was.
the top one is.
Yeah.
I always forget.
Whatever the top one was, it was loaded. It was a stick. It was
a sweet car.
It was a
It
sweet
really
car.
was. It was a lot of bang for your buck.
Yeah, it really was. We took it out, the same thing, and I think he pulled kind of an ignorant, was like, "Are you gonna drive?" And then it was like, "No, actually, the car's for her." And he was like, instantly. See, that guy was instantly.
It's always the assumption that it's for you first. Whenever we go
Test
into a
drive.
lot and test drive a manual transmission.
Yeah, they're always. It's again, this guy was kind of like. I mean, he was new. I remember that he was new.
He was really young too.
He was really young, and I think he immediately put his foot in his mouth, and he decided to. He was cool about it. He was just kind of like, oh, shit, yeah, I didn't mean any offense. It was, and then I think you had less of a bone to pick at that point.
Yeah, I didn't care at that.
It was
point.
more you in the car,
Yeah,
not you and
me,
the guy.
It was me in the car and proving to myself that I could still
Rip through the gears.
rip through the gears.
Yeah, and rip you did. It was
I did. That was a blast too.
That was
good.
That was a fun car.
That really was a fun car because I mean I had a Mazda prior to that, like the previous gen, and wow, did the clutch improve?
Oh my God, it turned into our R3 was like an 11, and that's when I had a 626, same problem, super sensitive clutch.
So sensitive, and the revs would just fall like instantly.
Yeah, light flywheel, really, really short, connection point on the clutch, and that Monster just got better and better over the years, and it finally made its way into the 3.
Yeah, and that clutch was really nice.
Yeah,
but the clutch that I had was rather jumpy.
It was
really hard to feel when it would catch. Like, that was the problem.
Yeah, its engagement point was really high up in the travel, so it was.
And light, it wasn't a heavy clutch either.
And
sometimes I almost appreciate the heavier clutches because you can feel when it catches easier.
Yeah, the like the old red truck we had a Mustang V6. Don't make fun of us.
It wasn't really our choice.
No,
it just kind of landed there.
Yeah, another story for another day. But we had a Mustang V6 that had a stick that was like you needed a leg the size of the rocks to move this clutch. It was brutal.
Yeah, and it also needed to be your leg itself needed to be like 5 feet long in order to fucking reach it. I am 5'2", ladies and gentlemen. Driving that car, I was kissing the steering wheel to do that. It was an interesting experience. But
she tippy-toed, man.
Oh, I tippy-toed, but I made it work.
You made it work.
That was my daily driver for a long time.
It was. It was
embarrassing that it was a V6, but I just told myself this wasn't my choice.
Yeah, you know what? And I get real offended when people talk shit about V6 Mustangs. I kind of want to just
better than your V6 Camaro.
Fuck yeah, it is. At least this one's a stick shift, It's like, leave the goddamn V6 Mustangs alone. Like, that car was.
I mean, it sounded nice for what it was.
Yeah, it was a Ford Ranger V6 in it, the 4-liter.
With one of that second gear in that car was a riot.
It was really fun. It had tons of torque. So, I mean, the car wasn't like outright fast. It wasn't slow by any means. It probably was a 6.5 second 0 to 60 maybe. Which is, quick, GTI quick-ish. It's like the same.
Was it really?
Yeah.
It was no.
Mm-hmm.
Really? It's been a long time since I've driven that car. So
the car was light. Like
it was light.
It had nothing in it. It was like a stripper base Mustang, like not even like rental grade. It was like that basic.
It was just a sea of black plastic.
It was.
With saggy seats.
With the worst fucking seats and a massive sea of black plastic. Like hard, like knock knock
And
hard.
then if you touched it, it would scratch. Like you could do nothing to it.
It was a very basic vehicle, but super durable, and it was
It was a tank. I mean, you could beat that thing up and nothing would happen to it.
yeah. There was a it never really broke down ever. It had well over 150. I think when I finally got rid of it, it had 150,000 plus miles on it.
All we did was oil changes on that thing. Never needed anything done to it.
It was in the air conditioning was a refrigerator. It was Arctic Tundra.
It did have really icy like refrigeration like AC.
Yeah, it was not this wheezy. The newer cars they can struggle a little bit because of the fuel economy standards, but that thing didn't.
Yeah, that wasn't meeting any fuel economy standards at that time.
No, but yeah, that clutch was really, really firm. And whenever we drive other cars like that 3 or the GTI, which has a really neutral clutch, that 3.
The GTI's got the perfect clutch.
It does. It's one of the great clutch and shifter combos of like all small cars.
Yeah.
It almost feels like it's weighted in your hand. Like it just moves with precision and diligence. It's an awesome drive. But yeah, we've definitely been Yanksters plenty of times in our life. We had fun doing it. We've had some, I don't know, man. I love driving. So for me, it was like, I didn't care I would drive a Camry, I would drive a Civic, I would drive a Saab.
There are times where you just want to rent a car just to rent it.
Yeah, just because I get excited about rental cars. Like when I go to the car rental, I crack my knuckles and
Rental car Olympics.
yeah, hell yeah. I swear, man, we're gonna do that. It's gonna be the next installment of the Shipbox Love Story Studios is gonna be the rental car Olympics.
Dun, da, da, da.
Dun, da, da, da. Yeah. I love driving anything. So it was like it just felt necessary, and I needed to do it. And I love sampling different kinds of cars. It's like it's cool to say, yeah, I drove a Saab, which we did back in the day. Remember that?
Yeah, we did.
Mm-hmm.
We did. Oh, yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, little turbocharged Saab.
It wasn't the most memorable thing I've ever driven, but
that's when GM owned Saab. So
yeah.
Not the. I don't know. It was good and it was bad. Oh, a great one. The TL Type S, the stick, the manual.
Oh my God! Now talk about a perfect second gear.
Oh Jesus!
Second to third. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's like the. I would guess that was like 09 maybe. No, 06.
Was it? I don't remember. I just remember it was in perfect condition. And it didn't have many miles on it.
Yeah, it was the really angular Type S, TL Type S. I think it was like an 06, 07. But yeah, it was a Type S. It was a stick. It had 20,000 miles on it or something stupid.
It was before Acura completely ruined the design and gave it that weird metal beak.
Yes, pre-beak years. It was when it was like Acura's return to prominence. You saw those things. You still see them everywhere.
Those were my favorite years of Acura.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
There was
the
a lot
wedge.
of heart in those years.
They were awesome, but they had this lot happened to have a TL Type S with a stick.
Oh God, that car was so good.
Man, we had a blast driving that. It was,
that was one of your moments when you decided just to take it to redline through each gear.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did do that.
Yeah, you did. That poor salesman. He didn't say much, but
well, why are we there if we're not going to take that motor to redline?
Yeah, you gotta see what it can do. You were testing the transmissions, make sure it wasn't too beat up.
That's right.
That's all.
It's like that was one of the bygone eras on of cars where you had this big V6 stick shift, super firm steering, nice handling, nice interior. It was like Acura had it dialed. Then they got away from it for a long time. But recently they're coming back with the Type S and some of their concept models, but man, that car was so much fun and an amazing second gear that just screamed. Probably 25 to maybe 65, 70. So right through that middle of the band, just screamed. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we will definitely do it again in the
eventually.
Once the pandemic's over.
Once this whole pandemic goes away. Yeah, maybe.
It was it was a great, again, so great to talk to Tanner Foust, and can't thank him enough for his time and for sharing his stories on our little podcast.
Yeah, we appreciate it probably more than he could probably understand.
Yeah. He definitely helped the little guy, so to speak. So we appreciate that. We appreciate every one of you, and thank you so much for, tuning into this episode and giving us your support.
And we'll see you next week.
And don't forget to follow us or subscribe.
Whatever the platform is that you're using.
Yeah.
Hit whatever likey button, subscribey button, whatever it is.
Likey, thumb up, thumb arrow, follow, subscribe. Just make sure that your ass is here every Friday for new episodes of Shitbox Love Stories.
We got a lot more stories to share.
Hell yeah, we do. So, again, thank you so much. And just remember, guys.
Road rage never leads to anything good. Be nice to one another, and we'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Bye.